and welcome back to the Simple Storyteller. Today I have a short story called No Happily Ever After. It's written by Lapp, and it's from the publication of Keepers at Home. It's a nice story about marriage, and I think we could all relate a little bit to it. So, our entire last year has been filled with unique experiences. We've had the kind of days which cause our friends to exclaim, "You should write a book." On this particular day, we were in the midst of a remodeling project. This project had grown significantly since its beginning. A bit like climbing a mountain, you think you're almost there, and then you scramble over the knoll, and there's another hill ahead. As you continue, the next one comes up, and the next. My husband was ready to begin on the plumbing part of the project. I alternated between calm acceptance and whiny, "When are you going to get this done?" moods for the weeks. I've as we've continued living without hot water heater or an indoor toilet. Being a good-natured husband, he was doing what he could, but between working at the sawmill and spending time with his growing family, there wasn't much time left to spend on the plumbing. He at last decided to take a week off of work to get this project done. On Monday morning, I had popped out of bed, a song on my lips as I did my morning work. I heated water on the cook stove, poured it into the sink, washed the dishes with zeal, singing heartily. My husband came into the kitchen. He got large kettles onto the stove and heated for laundry. He then disappeared into his office. I didn't see him again until about noon. I served soup with a smile and inquired brightly, "So how soon will you be getting started on the bathroom?" He gave me a startled look. "Well, not today. It'll take a day until I get the bookwork caught up." "Okay," I returned. "So you'll be starting tomorrow morning?" He answered slowly. "I need to go into town for supplies, but first I'll need to make a list of everything that I need." Tuesday morning, I woke up thinking, maybe today. Zealously, I watched my husband as he strolled around the house all before noon, mumbling and scribbling on his clipboard. He poked into all sorts of corners, from attic to cellar, a purposeful look on his face. By afternoon, my bright smile was slipping. Mentally, I was screaming. But after a few queries, "So almost done and about ready to leave for town?" and having received distracted, mumbling answers, I kept my mouth shut. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he left for town. He arrived home hours later, bringing with him all sorts of pipes and gadgets. Wednesday morning found me heating water again when the phone rang. "Hello, Lapps," I said. "Yeah, it's Tim here," drawled the slow, deep voice. "I shot a doe, and I thought maybe Jake could come help me skin it." "All right," I chirped as my heart dropped low. "I'll see if he can come over." "Tim called," I yelled to Jake, who was sorting through his multiple pipes and scribbling notes on the ever-present clipboard. "He shot a doe, and he's asking if you can come help skin it for him." "Sure, tell him I'll be right over," answered my willing husband. What else could he do? Tim is paralyzed from the waist down, and he lives alone. We've been trying to help him out and witness Jesus in our lives. With my husband had spent many hours helping him, and Tim expressed interest in coming to church with us. I have the kindest, most generous husband around. He is always there when a neighbor needs a helping hand. But what about me? When would he take care of my needs? I've been living with this dirt and dust all summer. I've been heating and carrying dishwater, bath water, laundry water. I've been taking small sons to the porta john at night. Is there a time that a wife should remind her husband to take care of her needs too? And anyway, I thought irritably, why does he seem to be moving twice as fast now that he can leave? He clanged and banged his way amongst my kitchen drawers, finding the sharpest knives. Whistling, he hopped on his bike and pedaled down the road. Here we were again, me and my small children, home alone with cold water and one ugly, stinking porta-john. "Dear Lord," I whispered, you say through tribulation cometh patience. I think possibly remodeling may be tribulation. But I'm so tired of dust and cold water and porta-johns. Please teach me patience quick so I can get this over." I finished the dishes with extra vigor, banging the pots and pans around. Then I strode into the garden, children in tow, to pull the frosted tomato plants out. I forcefully yanked them one by one while stewing about the irony of living in third world conditions in America of all places. A truck crunched in the gravel drive. Looking up from my furious yanking, I saw neighbor Mike come trotting over towards the garden, talking all the while. Being one of those thin, excitable types of men, he moves and acts in constant high gear. You're at home. Thank God you're here. Thank God you're alive. His wife slowly removed herself from the passenger seat, hand on her chest, breathing deeply as she said shakily, We thought it was you. I thought you were dead. Huh? You what? I stammered with furrowed eyebrows. They both talked at once. See, we were traveling down I-80 in the big truck ahead, buggy coming, woman driving, going at least 80. Who's going? I interrupted, puzzled for a moment. The truck driver never slowed down at all. It hit her in the back. Wham! The lady must have flown 15 feet and landed in the ditch. The horse in the other ditch and the buggy in splinters, Mike stammered. I thought it was you, his wife said again. She wasn't breathing. We thought she might be dead. She was lying on her stomach, and when we turned her over, after a bit, she took a breath, still unconscious though. Did you call 911? I asked. Yeah, the first responders are there now. We were just sure it was you, he muttered unnecessarily. Jake is over at Tim's place skinning a doe for him. How about you go over and get him and take him out to the scene of the accident to see if there's anything he can do to help and find out who it is? Sure. Before I had finished my request, Mike was back in his truck. What his wife managed to be mostly inside the truck before it roared out of the driveway. Shakily, I walked back to my tomato plants. My entire train of thought derailed. I pulled tomato plants and wondered who the lady was. I prayed God's peace would be with her. My problems looked suddenly very trivial. I often traveled Route I-80 with my buggy and my horse. If I had been in the accident and I had been called home to the Lord, cold water and porta-johns would have been mighty poor excuses to hold grudges against my husband. I'm so sorry, Lord, I whispered. I want to truly learn lessons to be sent my way. Without reacting in anger and bitterness, don't give up on me yet. Take me through the refiner's fire. Do whatever it takes to bring me to your perfection. After I spent a long hour pulling blackened stalks and praying, Jake returned. It was Rachel. You know, the new family that just moved into our area? She's awake now. Other than that, I don't know. I guess we'll know more after she's been examined at the hospital. You couldn't imagine all that happened to me while I've been gone, he continued. I was down on my knees in Tim's garage, skinning that deer, and Tim sitting in his chair giving me directions as he laughs and says, Yeah, I called Mike first to see if he could come over to do the deer, and he says, Tim, this isn't handicap season. You're not supposed to be shooting no deer this week. Handicap season was last week. I sat there, my husband explained to me, both hands bloody, with a legal deer, wondering what to do next. The doe was almost skinned. Why didn't you explain to him that it's wrong to shoot a deer out of season? I wondered. He thought it was handicap season. He didn't do it on purpose. He lives from one disability check to the next. He can't afford to pay the fine, and I should have checked up on the seasons myself. I skinned the deer. By law, I'm guilty too, my husband explained. Now let me finish the story. I jumped into Mike's truck and rode out with him to the accident. We were standing there looking around. A policeman walks over and says, Can I take you to the hospital, sir? I looked at him puzzled, and he gestured to my hands. You want that checked out? I glanced down and saw my hands were covered with blood. Jake took a deep breath. I gaped at my husband, wondering whether to laugh or fume. You didn't explain yourself? What should I have said? No, I wasn't in the accident. I'm bloody from illegal deer skinning. He looked at me as if I wasn't being intelligent about the whole matter. Honey, suddenly my emotions took over. You're telling me you took off plumbing to go skin an illegal deer and you didn't turn it in? I stopped, realizing the volume of my voice had been steadily rising. All right, Lord, I thought, you're working on me again. Whether Jake counsels Tim to turn the deer in or not, whether he gets the plumbing done, he's all yours, Lord. I can't handle him anyway. I turned and headed toward the house, my emotions churning. This day was too much. These kinds of incidents didn't just happened in storybooks, didn't they? Somehow, I needed to bring every thought captive to honor and respect my husband regardless of the circumstances. A refrain played in my head, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are of good report. Yes, I must think on these things. Wasn't it just a week ago that he surprised the family and took us all to the lake? Didn't he get up extra early to work and carry my laundry water and to my old Maytag washer. And he was going to say, and he was just going to say anything about, he wasn't going to say anything about those 2 checks I used and forgot to record. No, it wasn't actually him who took his son. It wasn't it actually him that took his sons to the Porta John at midnight. Yes, I did have the best husband in the world. Thank you, dear Lord. It was Friday evening, a week later. The family was all cozied up in the living room, reading and chatting. I looked up from my book and exclaimed, "Isn't it exciting you got the toilet hooked up last week? Now, tomorrow you can install the hot water heater and we can all get a good hot shower tomorrow night." The silence stretched out long and longer. I held my breath. "Honey," he answered slowly, "I guess I forgot to tell you. John needed more men to go along to the outreach community tomorrow to help build Timothy's barn, so I said I'd go along." "Jake, you didn't," I snapped, but then I bit my tongue, trying to still my churning mind and quick tongue. "Whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, think on these things." Yes, he was a kind, loving, gentle husband. What if he wouldn't help others? How would that make me feel? I took a deep breath and relaxed. Marriage and life are a learning process. God is still working on me, and unlike storybooks, there truly isn't a happily ever after. Thank you for visiting The Simple Storyteller again.